Greetings, Gratitude Ring family. This is Stuart Lovett, and this is a very special recording that we're making right now. What I'm first going to share with you is what the healing breath is. Before I share with you the healing breath of oneness, before we share with you the healing breath of oneness. Christine will be on camera shortly with me. But the healing breath is it's a respiratory retraining system, and it was developed through me back in 1984. And it started actually with a sacred and energetic art called attunement. And attunement is very special. It was developed, it was created by a man named Lloyd Arthur Meeker, who was known as Yoranda. One of the most incredible things about attunement, in my experience, was this. Attunement was first birthed or created through the chiropractic world. There were physicians, one from Palmer College. I'm not going to name the physicians, it's not really important right now, though I'm so grateful for what they did, the work they did. But the chiropractors came up with a terminology they called, how they offered attunement. It was through GPC, which stood for God Patient Chiropractor, GPC. And what that means is this. The chiropractors realized that this very special, this divine gift, was not really from them, though they were working with the techniques of attunement, but it was a gift that was given by God. So how do you charge for God? How do you charge for the gift of healing that comes through spirit? You really can't. But what Yoranda realized was there needed to be an exchange, but the exchange was GPC, which actually meant the healing aspect, or the sharing. Attunements are always shared, they're not really given, they're shared. The sharing of it was something where a person who received the shared, in other words, the chiropractor was the giver and the patient was the receiver. What occurred was something that, yes, there was something received by the patient, and the patient then had the opportunity, the privileged opportunity, to make a donation. So this is what has been in my heart from the beginning of my time with the healing arts. And so kind of how I've been operating all along, which it's sometimes a little tough to do that in a world where, business and money and commerce and, well, if you're not, what's your ROI, what's your return on your investment? I don't know, what's your return on your investment of love and your devotion to serving God? It's kind of automatic, really. But let's go forward here, and I'll just share with you the healing breath. What you want to do is this. I'm actually going to bring Christine on camera now with me, and she's going to act out or show you as a model what the healing breath is and how we do it. Hi, honey.
Hi.
Hi. You'll see her more so when we do the healing breath of oneness. But what I'm going to instruct Christine to do is this. I want you to just close your eyes for a moment and think of how you're breathing, and then you know how to do the healing breath, of course. She's my assistant. She's awesome. She's one of the best models for the healing breath that I've ever encountered before. I'm very grateful for that. So here we go. What Christine is going to do is she's going to push all her air out while contracting her abdominal muscles as tight as she can. And then when the muscles are as tight as they can be with all the air pushed out, just in that moment, it's a quick little moment. You got to pay, so you're tightening, pushing it out, and then you relax the muscles slowly. So as you relax the muscles slowly, I'm going to talk about it first and then she'll do it. As she relaxes her muscles slowly, what happens is the base of her lungs, because her abdominal muscles are down here, the base of her lungs expands first. It's like a teardrop. A teardrop. So, and the air automatically comes in without any effort. You don't have to take a deep breath. It's all pushing or giving and then receiving. Okay. So are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, cool. So I want you to now begin doing it. I want you to contract the abdominal muscles as you push the air out. Yeah, tight, tight, tight. And then do what you do. Show them. Yeah, I can actually see the flutter. Now what happens when this occurs, when the muscles are really tight and tightly, and the air is all the way out, and then there's a slow transition. What actually occurs is the muscles, they flutter. There's a little, what would you call that?
Definitely a flutter.
It's a flutter. It's a flutter. It's like the muscles kind of just
a little jerk, a little
flutter. There's another name for it, but it's not coming to me now. A little late in the night. But the fluttering occurs because of the transition, the gradual transition, and this is very important. You want to feel for this when you do that. Again, let's do it again.
And it happens more when you're going extremely slowly.
It happens more. It's more pronounced when you're going slowly because it's again, I'm not coming up with the word, but it's a little flutter, and it tells you that you are relaxing your muscles slowly enough so there's a gradual transition, opening up the base of the lungs so that the air comes in down to the base of the lungs. The base of the lungs is actually where most of the oxygen is assimilated into the bloodstream because gravity presses the blood around the base of the lungs. So here we go. Let's do it again. Now do it for a little while this time. Just do it at a rhythm. And put your hand on your belly so they can see the movement. Yeah. And the rate that you do it, really you have to find your own pace. The brain will say, your brain will say, I gotta take air in, I gotta take a breath, because that's so ingrained in consciousness, plus you've been doing it for most of your adult life. You keep watching her. Keep your hand flat, I think, as you're showing, just so that they see the movement. Okay, she's going in now, she's tightening, 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 and then you can see the relax. I can see your hand actually a little fluttering. Yeah, excellent, excellent. You're so good at this. Do it again. Now, what this accomplishes, keep doing this as I'm talking. Thank you. What this accomplishes is two major things. Number one, it provides more oxygen into the lung cavity. You see, if you have your previous breath in your lungs, then it mixes with the new breath. And I don't care how much of a deep breath you take, you still have that previous oxygen depleted air. And it's like, how many oxygen molecules, how many, it's the oxygen per square inch ratio, which is the paramount factor insofar as going through the lung tissue and assimilating it into the bloodstream. Now, the other factor is probably just as important as that one. I'm thinking that it may be even more important because when the muscles are contracted, there's actually a stimulation that occurs with the internal organs and glands. This is like priming a pump. You prime a pump, you get it going, so there's a signal to it. It stimulates, and it knows that it's going to receive oxygen. But not only that occurs, but the glands and organs are stimulated so that they produce. They are active. They're alive. It's like getting a back rub. Imagine, say your pancreas gets stimulated. What happens? Well, it tends to produce more insulin. We've actually had people that are diabetics, type 2 particularly, get off of insulin. Their pancreas awakens. I mean, we've helped people with type 1 diabetes too. But type 2, I mean, a person with type 2 diabetes, and I say, well, if you're doing the other things like having the proper diet, which is helpful to your condition, and if you're getting some exercise and all that good stuff, having a good lifestyle, then when you do this, you got like a really high percentage chance of having your condition change so that you don't need to take more insulin. You can either reduce the insulin intake or possibly get off insulin completely. I don't know why the doctors aren't helping people with this, but there's still hope because we're here. Okay, so You've been watching this. Now what we're going to do here, you have the general idea of the healing breath. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to take the healing breath and we're going to incorporate it into something very special. The healing breath of oneness. So I'm going to invite Christine to come down and sit down around me, on me. Okay, here's that pretty lady. and now what we're going to do here, now obviously we're clothed. This is a G-rated film, and but we're in a position where it could be a love-making position. If we were not with our clothes on, there could be an actual sexual intercourse could actually take place. And we could talk about that sometime, hopefully when we're down at the gratitude ring, just not to necessarily show you, but to just talk about it in greater detail. It's a very intimate thing. So now Christine's going to pull herself close to me. Now our noses are actually going to be touching, and our eyes are open, so we're actually looking at each other. We're feeling each other's everything, you know. This is a very beautiful sharing. So, let me share with you where this first idea came from to me. I was watching a movie. It was a movie called Revelation, right? And it was a movie about this man who Terrence Stamp played the role, and he discovered something called the
Localist.
Localist, thank you, the localist. Now the localist contained, in the movie, the divine gifts, the divine magical secrets of creation and procreation. Amazing. In the movie, what happened was, unfortunately, Terrence Stamp, the character he was playing, was killed by the Knights Templar. And his son, he convinced his son to take this quest on to go find the Localist. Localist. Can't speak, mind you. The Localist. And they found themselves. She had a beautiful partner. She was a lovely lady, an alchemist. And they found themselves on this great journey, this quest, which brought them to Mary Magdalene's temple. So they're in this beautiful temple, and they're actually sealed in. They can't leave if they wanted to. And they find this special chamber where the Localist was actually where it was. They discovered, they found it. And the alchemist was looking at all the characters, the language that Mary Magdalene was using to teach and to share this divine gift. Mm-hmm. And so it was beautiful. It was a very special scene.
It was inscribed in the stone.
It was right in this, it was actually carved into the stone. It was very, very beautiful. And so this woman, the instructions were, she realized that it was a making love scenario. So she takes all her clothes off, and the younger gentleman, the son of Terrence Stamp, the actor, he walks in the room and he sees this beautiful lady. My goodness! Well, he knew what this was all about. She was without clothing, and so and so something really special occurred. The young man was sitting as I am, without clothing, and the alchemist sat upon him. And the instructions from Mary Magdalene were this: she would breathe. They would get close like this. And she would breathe her breath out, and he would breathe her breath in. Now they wouldn't have their lips touching really. I mean, maybe it would just be so that they would still be getting air in. You still need oxygen, you know. But the key to this is that the woman was sharing of her essence. She was breathing her whole being, her whole loving being out. And sharing it, offering it to the man. The man received the air, so she breathed out, he breathed in, and then now the mixture of both their breath together, he breathed that out and back to her. So they went back and forth, exchanging and building, joining. It's a joining of the essence, a joining of the pneumoplasm, which is so special. It's a magical thing. We're going to do this in front of you right now. we're going to do this breathing for a little while, and you can see how special it is, perhaps. I hope you do. I'm going to pause for a moment just to tell you how special this is for us. It's so, it's gentle. It's like gentle spiritual intercourse. I can't, it's amazing.
And you know, another, if I may,
Yeah,
another
please.
thing that happens is with the closeness, actually, as my belly is emptying, his is filling. So there's that happening as well. The closeness and the movement, even of that midriff part of our bodies, is his belly fills while mine's emptying. Mine fills as his is emptying. And
It's
there's
like
that
a
closeness
it's like a
there.
death. It's like a dance of breath. A dance of breath. It's
It
a
is,
dance.
it is.
And I mean, I honestly, I'm like, so I want to just take her and you know, it's very special. But it's not. It's just giving. It's giving and loving, and when you breathe, you're breathing out your whole everything. You know, Napoleon Hill, thoughts are things. Our thoughts move through our breath. Our love, it's a blessing. And in this case, it takes it up like 10 notches. I mean, when you do this, you're no longer two people. You become one. Now, bring into it a little divine foundation. We know that there's this, but there's a triangle that connects us. There's a higher, there's God, there's Spirit that's working through this process. So it's very special. It's very special. And I think that's all we're going to do for now, because it's just that way. And
While the camera's on.
yeah, while the camera's on. So we say we love you, and we hope that you can begin with this little introduction, and that you can help us create the actual Healing Breath of Oneness on DVD for the world. Let's create this together. Let's have our team come together and make a difference in the world. There's a lot at stake. It's about frequency. It's about matching a frequency, a higher level frequency, your higher self. It's about unified radiation when two or more are gathered in His name. When two or more are gathered with holistic purpose, loving inclusion, it's a gift. It's the gift that we share with you. And we say, Namaste.
Namaste.
We love you, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.